Good morning, everybody. Good Monday morning to you, and happy continued Advent. It is no secret that Father Rick and I do lots and lots of live streams, and so I guess we don't also need to be secretive about the fact that we more and more are seeking counsel from other beloved sons and daughters of God to advise us on what they would like to have us speak about. And a suggestion that we received was speak a little bit more about what one can do, should do, ought to do, may do when bad things happen to them, disappointments, frustrations, and I think that's always an appropriate topic, and as we've said often, it is especially appropriate during COVID and 2020. There has been an abundance of frustration, would you not agree?
Absolutely.
And far greater than average, and that frustration, as Father Rick observed, is because more things are outside of our control. But let's actually address ourselves to what is within our set of control. Something has just happened that you don't like at work. I guess I always want to say, and this may sound simple or obvious, step one is take a breath. Even if it requires action on your part, and maybe you perceive this something as to be a fire that needs to be put out, you will put the fire out better if you take that one breath. The little bit that the fire burns more because of that one breath you took is more than made up by the fact that you paused.
Right.
I actually was with a friend yesterday in Venice, California, and gave a pep talk to his 6-year-old son. And I said, you know what, Sam? I'm getting kind of old. I said, do you know what the word desperation means? He said, yes. I said, if you ever feel yourself being desperate or you're around people who you sense are being desperate, always remember to do this. Nothing for a little while. When you act from that desperation, time gets wasted, money gets wasted, and sometimes your frustration increases, and then you respond with greater desperate behavior. This is what not to do. Something happens, you don't like it, take a big breath. If you have the mind to, try to say, God, help me. God, help me to understand. Try to go to those places. You have control to breathe. You have control to pray. You have control to seek at least what your best alternative is. I'm going to stop there and see what your tricks are when a bad thing happens to you.
Yeah. I think one of the other things that I would really encourage people is give yourself a little bit of space. Use that breath or that series of breaths to try to widen your perspective, to widen your gaze. What am I saying there? When you find yourself in a frustration situation or with something that you didn't want to happen, it is very easy to have tunnel vision. And all of a sudden, your gaze gets right into that one particular issue or that one particular occurrence and how it impacts on you. Attempt to open that gaze back up and look a little bit wider. I had a conversation with somebody the other day who was saying, boy, the hours have been really cut for all of the people at work, and while it hasn't impacted me, it's impacting a lot of other folks, and I actually helped those people get this job, and I feel so responsible for that. I feel awful. I said, well, did you make the decision to cut the hours? Well, no. I said, well, what is your job? Well, I'm just one of the people. Do you run the company? No, I don't run the company. I said, so give yourself a break. You didn't cause that to happen. You did them a favor by getting them the job. What happens afterward isn't your problem. You're not responsible for it. Open your gaze a little more and don't take the world too seriously. Look beyond the ways that it impacts you.
Right, owning a mistake that isn't yours or something that's not your responsibility then might block you from discerning what little something you might be able to do.
Right. Right. And just like I said about control in one of the messages we did this week, use these frustrations, use these events as a way to learn. There's got to be something you can learn from this. I used to tell my children when I was raising them, I guess they're in their 20s, I'm not done raising them, much to their chagrin. I used to tell them I have learned so much more from failure than I ever learned from success.
Amen.
So when you have those stumbles, when you have those failures, when you don't get the promotion and you don't get the raise, or you get fired, or something happens, figure out what you can learn from that and how it can help you to move forward. I look back across my life and I see the failures I've had as foundational building blocks on which I have built my life. I suspect you may find the same is true for you, brothers and sisters.